Hi, everyone, and welcome to another podcast with us at this WICCI Forum. I'm very happy and glad to be bringing another young champion from the industry. She's a young leader. Welcome, Susan James. Hi, Susan. I'll start this with a quick introduction and then let you come in. So, Susan is a communications professional with nearly 12 years of experience in building and promoting brand narratives across the global organizations, large conglomerate, and even in high growth startups. She's currently leading communications for KLA in India. It's a global technology leader in the semiconductor space. Before she got into this dynamic world of semiconductors, she spent a major part of her career in the automobile industry. In the early parts of her career, she had a unique opportunity to work directly with leadership teams. Over the years, she's been instrumental in establishing communication function and driving impact strategies that seamlessly integrate traditional as well as digital channels. Among her notable achievements is spearheading an award winning communication campaign for India's first iconic electric double decker bus. So awesome. So you've taken sustainability to completely the other level, right, Susan? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Garima, for having me on board. It's a pleasure to have this conversation with you and to share my
Amazing.
experience.
Lovely, lovely. Love it. Thank you so much. So, Susan, as we discussed just before off camera, the two things that really talk to your heart is the fact that when, as communications professional, we are operating in the real world, the fact is that even very early on in our career, we have to navigate the leadership terrain, which can be intimidating, which can be complex, which can have a lot of layered dynamics, which can also have a tinge of politics involved here and there. And there's lot that a young communicator needs to go through. And with you, you've traveled that distance and come to a place where we can say today you're in a mid senior level towards upward trajectory of your career. And what you shared with me is that how mentorship is very close to your heart, not only receiving but also at this stage in your career offering. So with that said, as the core of what we'll talk today, I'd love for you to talk about your journey in communications organically with us, and then let's have this conversation unfold how it does.
Yes. So, to begin with, communications just happened by chance. It was not by choice. I was actually an aspiring engineer and I didn't know that communication was my calling. But now, with nearly 12 years of experience in this space, I would say it's really been an exciting journey. So I worked with Indian brands and I worked with a global brand. So now when I look back, it definitely has been an exciting journey. And I also had the opportunity to take on a leadership role like early on to work with leaders.
Mm.
And I think that set the tone for my career. And also, another point I must mention is early on, I was very fortunate to have worked under an inspiring and empowering woman leader who groomed me and shaped me to who I am today. So she was a mentor and she was my boss and who turned into a mentor who I looked up to as a mentor, and she played a vital role, and from then on it's just been great and awesome. So after that, another pivotal moment, I must say there are many pivotal moments in this experience, but however a few pivotal moments that I would highlight is having the opportunity to work under an inspiring woman leader. And then another pivotal moment, like how you mentioned, was working on an award winning brand campaign. So
Mhm.
that was very special for India's iconic first electric double decker because it was not just a product launch, it was the creation of a brand identity built entirely on storytelling. So the CEO was super supportive, and you need the support of the management,
Mhm.
and you need them to champion for PR to say that, hey, this can be done, right? So that was an amazing experience. And then to now being in a Fortune 500 global brand and working with diverse cultures where I get to work with my peers and colleagues across Asia Pacific, US, UK, and the diversity of thought is just amazing. So
Yeah.
basically, you cannot confine PR and comms to a certain boundary, right? It's just
True.
so vast that the learning is from all angles, and every day is a learning. So
That's
this
really
has been my
amazing, you
journey.
know. Yeah, yeah. You shared some really important points here that how early on, if there is somebody who's counting on you, who has your back, who's there to tell you, okay, go do your bit, fall, come back, I'm here, and we'll dust it off together, and I'll hold your hand in this journey. That just automatically gives an individual so much confidence to move further in their life, right? And so that's
Absolutely.
point one. Point number two, when you're doing something that's putting India on the global map, then the responsibility is so high that if you left to it and you do not have enough support in the system, like in communications, a lot of times PR has to beat the drum a little too hard to open a few doors for itself. So it's really amazing that you
Right.
bring up that point. And last but not the least, to transitioning to a Fortune 500 company, I see that in your journey you must have tasted a lot of flavors and come to where you are. So tell us more about stakeholder management. How was your journey in it? How, in 12 years, which is almost like a decade, a chapter is turned, how has the dynamics of stakeholder management from a communications lens changed overall, and your journey in it?
Yeah. So basically, early on in the career, you have tactical deliverables, right?
Hmm.
So as long as you have tactical deliverables, it's all okay. You always have a boss who will be your shadow. You'll have a large team. You'll be a part of a large team in the initial years of your career. But as you grow up into a leadership role, you are you are held accountable, responsible. You need to own the brand narrative, and you need to take certain sound decisions, and stakes are high, right? So this is something that just hit me on my face. And while it was a great learning in the initial years of my career, but thanks to my leadership who had my back then, right? So this is when I figured out the importance of stakeholder relationships. And another point is, in corporate communications, you work with the leadership team and with the management directly. And they do not have the time to follow up with you and to micromanage and all of that. So you need to basically take the responsibility, be proactive, be responsible. And that is where we as leaders come in, right? That's a value addition we make. So that is when I realized, oh, so where do I go to? And also, for the most part, I spent my career in the automobile industry, which is largely male dominated. I don't like to say this, but it's largely male
It's a
dominated,
fact.
right?
You're stating
And
a
now it's
fact.
and now it's changing. Of course, we have more women coming. So so I was wondering how to navigate this entire situation, and that's when I figured out that having allies outside your function, because you work with
Hmm.
business leaders and they are your critical stakeholders. So having allies outside your function, inside your function, outside your organization, inside your organization, it all plays a vital role. Because once you spend time with a key stakeholder who's a business leader, you understand the business, you understand the market, you understand the trends, because all this is important to deliver the communication message, right? We cannot communicate effectively if we do not understand the business. I know many people say that, we are just press release jockeys or email wordsmiths. We just need to know English. No, communication is beyond all of that. We also need a deeper understanding of the business. Now, when you take on a leadership role or when you're a young leader in the room, it's definitely not easy. And the management doesn't have the time to sit and break down uh, the trends or the industry at large, right? So it's up to us how much of self-reading, how much of interest and proactive approach that we show. So that's when the stakeholder relationships played a vital role. And then when you actually value stakeholder relationships, what happens is that translates into them engaging deeper with you and contributing more and more to your role, right? And
Absolutely.
that's how communication works. You basically build narratives that is holistic, which covers all business functions, right? So and then when you do your enough reading and your study and your background work, and you take it up to your management, and you have a better picture, you have a better perspective. And also another point that I learned is, we as communications professionals, we have a certain approach, but someone who's outside of your function can bring in diverse perspectives. And trust me, that really helps. Sometimes we just fail to think beyond the horizon, but they widen your perspectives.
True.
And
True.
once they become champions of your work, and then they're also your cheerleaders, right? It makes it makes it navigating the workplace dynamics much easier. And then you face a lot of other biases in the workplace, and there are a lot of other challenges that come, right? Everywhere there are challenges. So navigating all of this becomes much easier as well when you have allies at work, especially outside your function as well.
Mhm.
So, and I think as communications professionals, we talk about um, telling authentic stories, telling credible stories, but we also have to invest time in being authentic and credible ourselves, because our first stakeholders before the external world should be your internal stakeholders. If we are not able to, be authentic and credible with them, if we are not able to sell our stories to them, our narratives to them, and how are we going to do it to the outside world, right? So all this I learned like on the go, and authenticity breeds trust, right? So once you have that trust with your internal stakeholders and you have their support automatically, and then you get to amplify that to your leadership team and then to the external world. It's just about the importance of navigating the workplace
Mm,
dynamics
mm.
is centered around stakeholder relationships, is my learning from this 12-year journey.
No, that's beautifully shared, and there's so many pivotal points that you've touched here, Susan. The point is that, when you grow from a little uh, person in the team, like you said, tactical, in the shadow, larger
Yeah,
team, to somebody who's more ready for a front facing and ownership led, space, from responsibility to accountability, your ownership, your courage, your self motivated, self learning is where the buck stops. And a lot of times we tend to, in that complex environment of stakeholders, unknowingly we start blame shifting, that, oh, they need to understand comms better, oh, they don't understand this. Oh, the point is that you are here, asking people to turn the lens inwards, that fine, okay, these five functions do not understand communication, but can you function without them? And if you can't, then it's in your favor to have bring them on board and turn them into an ally. And for that you'll have to work hard, and you'll have to work smart,
absolutely,
and you'll have to upgrade.
absolutely,
Yeah, I was just
absolutely, yeah.
recently I posted something on LinkedIn which was to the tune of, goals achieved is goals upgraded. A reward of good job done is a bigger job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when
Yes.
that bigger job comes, you can't sit there and cry over it, because there was a time when you asked for it.
Yes. And I think we
Yeah.
should be open for that. And yeah, and another point is, as your stakeholder relationship strengthens within the organization, like you said, be prepared for bigger responsibilities, because your credibility in the organization is also growing. So yeah, be prepared for bigger responsibilities, and no one's going to be there as your shadow as you grow higher up in your career. Of course, the leadership, the management, they're all there. Your bosses are there, but that's where the role takes you finally.
Yeah. And
We
Susan,
have
like
to own the
from
map.
from a standard perspective, everybody knows, like you also shared, read more, learn more, be open, talk to multiple people, gather information, assimilate it. This is everything that by the book people know, right? But there is a much deeper layer of conviction and courage, that the courage to say, yes, I can do this, and the conviction of, yes, I'll work hard enough for this. How does one emotionally tap into that place? Because you spoke about mentorship also, right? PR comms
Yes.
is a very high paced, dynamic, multifaceted workspace, right? Uh,
Right.
how do you remain a self starter, self motivated individual? How do you tap into that emotion, and where does the role of mentorship there come into play?
Yeah. So while we also build strong stakeholder relationships, right? So you're lucky enough if you have your stakeholders double up as your mentors. I've had that in my journey. So they can also double up as your mentors, and they can guide you through and through in every step that you take. And we need not complicate the concept of mentorship. If there is a formal setting, yes, that's good. But it can start close to home, it can start close to us. Like sometimes your current boss could be your mentor. And that's how it began for me, right? And that's like super useful, because I've had in my career, I've had my mentors talk to me about navigating workplace dynamics, salary negotiations, having open conversations about sensitive topics. Now, when you go to a formal mentorship setting, someone who doesn't know you, I don't know how much of information would they share for such sensitive topics, right? And because these are all like topics not spoken about, we would not know how to navigate it. And we kind of burn our fingers in that and we learn it the hard way. Well, that's also good. It's also good to have good mentors, right? Who can basically at least bring you awareness to how the situation is. And that's what helped me also. And I also had people come up to me now after this 12 years. I've had people come up to me saying, hey, I want to move from PR to Copcom and I don't know how to make the jump. Or freshers also, I have people coming up to me saying that, I don't know where to make a start. Because nowadays, comms, there's a very thin line. The lines are blurring between a PR agency, a creative agency, a digital agency, and there are overlap of roles. And then in comms, you have internal, external brand coming into play. Earlier, I remember when I was interning, I used to prepare these media dockets where we used to measure the newspaper article and then we used to say AVE 5 times and all of that, right? Now, PR is not just that. And we just call up the journalist and we say, hey, take the story, take the story. Now, PR is not that. We have become more a strategic enabler, right? So
Absolutely.
the freshers do not know where to make a start. And those in the system, in a PR agency, if they want to move into Copcom, they are also stuck as to how do I get into Copcom? So this is where mentorship can play a role. If you can talk to multiple people, it can be with your current boss or it can be like outside networking opportunities. Again, the thing with networking is we tend to talk to them once in a while. We meet them in communities once in a while. We don't have like a regular conversation, right? A one-on-one conversation. So this is where mentorship plays a role. And I would say no better person than your boss who is a subject matter expert in this space, who would be able to guide you. And that is the amount of credibility and trust you need to have with your boss, right? So I've had that in the past. So all my career moves, I ensured I discussed them with my earlier manager, my earlier boss, and I told them, hey, this is what I intend to do. So give me your direction, let me know your guidance, right? So that plays a vital role. And in fact, one of my earlier assignments, I was doing extremely well. And then I got another offer, enticing offer, and I couldn't, I was very confused. I took 60 days to actually think about it. But then I reached out to my mentors. And when I reached out to mentors, these are mentors even from outside my function, right? And outside the organization. And these are business leaders because I've been fortunate to work in the Copcom role with the leadership. So these are business leaders and they think big, right? And they see through things that I will not be able to see through.
See through.
And
True.
another important point is, mentors should be able to see your potential, your interests. They should be able to highlight that and not just do something for like Naam Ke Vaas, right? So that's a kind of a connect. It's up to us to build that connect with our mentors. And I've been extremely fortunate. So now it's a cause close to my heart, but beyond that, now it's a responsibility I embrace. So I'm giving it
That's
back in
beautiful.
gratitude to all the people who reach out to me. And it's amazing when the seeds that you've planted in few people and then you bloom, you see them thrive
It's
to
very
strong PR.
fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, it's
extremely
it's so fulfilling that for me, though I've pivoted from a hardcore straight line PR comms journey to now being in coaching, mentoring, and training full time.
yeah,
So
you know better.
yeah, maybe not better, but I feel as much, if not more, because when you speak, a person comes alive and it comes from a very deep place. You get into a state of flow. What I hear you say, but repetitively here, is that you were blessed with great. So, two things here. One, having the intention of gaining knowledge, gaining the
Yes.
wisdom, scratching the surface, going deep, working ourselves. That's my preparation for it and my intention that I put into my own career progress. I'm not sitting for it to happen to me. I'm taking the charge and
Yes.
really going out there. There's this phrase that a guru appears only when a disciple is ready. You will only get the mentor
Right.
if you ask
Absolutely.
for it.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's
It
one.
didn't
And
happen
two,
easy to me. Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing is that while you were fortunate to have that in your bosses, a lot of people who are going to be listening to this might feel, oh, then she was the lucky one. Luck is when
No.
preparation meets opportunity.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, it is the amount of hard work that I've put into the long hours.
Preparation.
I did. Yeah, I didn't have it easy at all, right? And
Exactly.
yes, it's not been a smooth ride, it's not been a rosy ride with all my bosses, but I had to earn their trust and uh,
Absolutely.
earn
And
it, right?
that's
It
where
was all
role of,
earned.
yeah, so, and that's internal, right? That's internal. You were able to build
Absolutely.
it for yourself. But say, for example, if somebody is not even able to build it for themselves, I want to reiterate here that people like you and me are in this wiki forum here, putting
Yes,
ourselves out there, taking out time from our working days to sit and have this chat so that it opens doors for
absolutely.
many others. I want 10, 20, 100 people to listen to this. Anybody and everybody who has been on this podcast, Susan, has offered their support and guidance to the next generation openly on this platform, saying reach out. But it's for
Yes,
us to take that action and reach out to people like that.
absolutely. Yes, I
Tell me
think
one thing. So, what
Vic is
was
a great
your
place.
vision? Yeah, I'm so sorry I cut you in.
Go
I'll
ahead,
let
go
you
ahead, go
complete
ahead.
that, and I want you to tell me your vision for Wiki as well. What did you come in to the forum thinking and wanting to do?
Yeah. So basically, again, mentorship, right? I know a lot of people struggling out there. And for example, I know like a BCom grad who wanted to get into comms, who didn't know where to begin with. So I just told her, you know what, just start with internships first. And then first she said events. Then she interned in an event agency. She interned in a PR agency. She interned in a digital marketing agency. And then she got placed in the digital marketing agency. And then she's gone to the US to do her master's and she's doing extremely well. You know, what I see from experience is there are people who just need that breakthrough. And we are here as Wiki members, we are providing them a breakthrough and we're going to provide them our counsel from our experience. We're going to share our experience and help them navigate this career journey. And I think that will play a vital role because I don't see a formal mentorship setting so far in the PR and
Hmm.
comms industry where people are reaching out to. If not formal, we can also be the informal one-on-one mentors where they can
Absolutely.
feel free to just we are just a call away, we're just a ping away. In this digital age, we don't even have to be in the same
And
location,
at
right? We are
times for
from
people like,
across.
yeah, and for people like you and me, honestly, in a busy day, crazy day, if somebody calls and we are able to help them, if we are able to give back, that just recharges our batteries. Because in a way, it's
Abs-
like, chalo, kuch purpose hai of what everything that we are doing here.
Absolutely. And we are in this constant hustle culture, right? PR and comms is like, there's no PR and comms without hustle, right? You're constantly hustling. So that is
And
like a
that,
break and gives a sense
yeah.
of fulfillment. And trust me, I've had times where I've not been able to answer calls, and I've had someone run through all the PR campaigns with me, the ideas, who bounces off the ideas with me before the person discusses with the team internally. And I've been extremely stuck in my work situation where I've not been able to give that time. But in the night, late nights, I have that conversation because someone's relying on you, someone's coming to you for
Counting on
support.
you.
Give them this, yeah, give them the support, right? So, yeah, I
Absolutely.
know it's
And
very
that's
difficult.
where I want to also touch upon the point that you'd made earlier on networking. Networking is not just about coldly walking to an event and collecting cards. It's about lubricating that conversation often enough to stay on the top of a person's mind. Like I go and teach in various colleges in a one to many format. If there are 70 students, 50 students in a class, unless you ping me on a LinkedIn, unless you sent me a personal message, unless you take the effort of saying, I've walked two steps, can you now help me with my third step? As mentors, we also need to see conviction in them
Absolutely. Yeah.
and let
And
them chase
also,
and show us the
yeah,
hunger.
because we don't know who needs help, right? If someone needs help, they need to reach out to us, and we are always there. We are welcoming. We are so, and it's not just professionals. Even I think someone who's in the middle of their career, some people may feel stagnant and they don't know where to go to the
Mm,
next level, right?
mm.
One could be because of comfort, and then now there's this imposter syndrome also going on. I mean, with everybody bombarding LinkedIn and showing their work and flaunting their work, and then I have people coming to me say, you know what, I just feel I'm useless when I log on to LinkedIn because there's so much happening and I am not doing that, right? So it's also for people who are in the
Again,
profession who, yeah, who I know,
there is
yeah,
noise. You need to just turn the lens inwards and see what's working for
absolutely.
you, who are you, what works for you.
Yeah, which they
Does
need to realize, and they need that validation. And that validation can be given only by mentors or someone outside of their friend circle, is what I think. Because yeah, like even 2 days back I was in a mentorship program. I've taken up a formal mentorship program for soft skills. So that person, and I'm handling communication for that person. So she was telling me, you know what, I'm feeling extremely low when I log on to LinkedIn, and I'm just not able to handle it. So I'm telling her, your journey is different, their journey is different, don't think both are same. And she's saying the same thing when my friends tell me I'm not able to take it, but when you tell me with your experience, it makes me feel good. I think that
So it's
also makes
like
a
there's
difference.
this thing, you can't compare your first chapter with somebody's 10th chapter.
Chapter, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
The point is that, and this language, this vocabulary, this thought process, or unfortunately, I feel even this is abused and too available in the system that it's just now
Yes.
words and the meaning behind it is eroding. And it's
Right,
only
absolutely.
human connections that can bring it back. It's only realism and authenticity that can bring all of these things back. It's only turning
Right,
inwards and intention setting that can bring that confidence.
right. Yeah, and like you said, networking, it's not going to help if you just go for like, one networking meetup. You have to be consistent, like you said. You have to be consistent, show that interest. That drive should come from you. So once the drive comes from you, and then automatically, things fall in place. And we are here as Wiki members to provide counsel and support to anyone who needs help,
True.
either who's an experienced professional or who just wants to
Yeah.
make a
And
start in this space.
while we want to focus on women, but we are gender
Yeah,
agnostic that way, right? We are more than happy
right,
to have
right.
men around. It's just that men got a head start in the world of work overall because of however thing were,
Yes.
socially.
Yeah, glad that things are changing, but still we have a long way to
Long way
go.
to go. Long way to
Yeah, we
go.
have a
Long
long
way
way
to
to
go.
go.
I won a few. So I'd participated in a few female-only awards and won one. And I was like, yeah, Garima, how are you going to, in your heart, justify this award to you when you work in a heterogeneous place, and now you're winning a women's achiever kind of a thing? Only why? And I was like, okay, fine. Let me try and put a rationale to it. And like you said, Fortune 500 companies, less than 10% people in the leadership role, like the top boss is a woman. I'm like, is it lack
Yes,
of capability? No, it was lack of opportunity and environment. And unless that ratio
absolutely.
is 50-50, I will unapologetically go out there and participate in and go all out and be a woman champion.
Right. And now that you said this, I think many of us don't even realize our full potential. We always, put ourselves lower than what we actually are. So women also need to come out and, put ourselves out there saying, hey, you know what, I'm capable. They need to challenge the status quo, basically,
Awesome.
and not
Do
just be
that.
comfortable.
Do that.
Yeah. So I think that,
And everybody is busy. Everybody
yeah,
has nobody has time. We took three,
right.
4 weeks to finally finalize this
I
call
know.
and be together
I,
here. But I'm so grateful for you to have taken this time out, Susan, because you've been able to very realistically pinpoint some really crucial points. And this is by far one of the very focused discussion. Two sharp points: work on yourself, focus on yourself, look for a mentor, and create an ecosystem that works for you around you. Instead of drowning
absolutely.
in it, rise in
Yes.
it.
Yeah, you'll have hits and misses. I've also had hits and misses in my career, but it's how you bounce back, right? That resilience. And come on, we women have more resilience than men. So we can bounce back. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
about us. We should know our worth.
Absolutely. And it's not a race, it's not a comparison, but it's just a
Yes,
conversation or just making sure that every individual, irrespective of the gender, meets their full potential. And in that,
absolutely.
if they need help, then asking for help is powerful. It's great.
Yes,
It's
and it's
awesome. It's
okay to
amazing.
ask for help. It's really okay to ask for help. I think some people just shy away from asking for help, and they just like to show to the world that, hey, I'm having a great, rosy, career path. And I think it's really okay to ask for help. I think we should like normalize mentorship, reach out to your mentors, talk to them. Only then we will even know
Absolutely.
what's happening outside.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we think that, oh, we are the best, we are in the best place. And it'll be too late before you realize your other peers are all ahead of you.
It's very
So,
empowering. I did my first coaching
yeah,
session in June 2022 and no looking back since then. In fact, I've pivoted to this entire space because of the joy that one derived.
in giving
Great.
back here.
Yeah. And as we come towards the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes of this conversation, I'd just like to now get into some sharp dive questions and get answers. I don't like calling it a rapid fire as much. It's just quick questions, quick answers for somebody who's looking for guidance. Are there books, are there podcasts, are there places you reach out to fill your own cup in this journey? Any recommendations?
Yeah, so in terms of podcasts, Nandini Chatterjee, Comms and Conversations is something that I listen to from an Indian standpoint, much more because I'm in Copcom and she's a good woman leader who I look up to. So that's one reason I started. And then there's another global podcast. Since I also work in a global company, I would like to understand diverse perspectives. I listen to On Top of PR by Jason Mudd. I think these two podcasts are good. Yeah, there are a lot of books out there, but if these two podcasts should be useful for listeners and if they can make a start, that'll be great.
Amazing. I know you're super duper busy, right? We've had this conversation. How do you
I
keep your
know.
head on your shoulders when you are running around from day in, day out? There is no break here, right? How do you recharge? How do you balance anything you want to share there?
One, take a deep breath. I mean, like seriously, I don't even have time to breathe sometimes. So that deep breath meditation really helps a lot. That 5 to 10 minutes also makes a lot of difference to keep myself grounded. And then two, cut off from all the noise and spend time with my family and friends. So I know we are constantly made to hustle. The role is so much so like that. But I prioritize, I ensure that I have my space, that me time with my family and with my friends, because that's what makes me sane. I can't be in hustle mode 24/7, right? So
Beautiful.
I won't be able to think clearly. Yeah. So, and then I'll have a brain drain also. So that's how I recharge myself. I just cut off, even if it's the most important of emails. Yeah. I'm like, if I need my time, I know my clock is ticking, my mental clock is ticking. So I'll just shut off and spend
Awesome.
time with family and friends.
Perfect. So just know yourself, know when your burnout point is about to be
Yes,
there and just switch off
absolutely.
before that or figure out something that gets you back on track. Perfect. Also, this happens to be that time of the year when we are reflecting, when we are closing the year, we are getting into the new year. Any trend or that we need to watch out for from a comms lens or any skills maybe that people can pick up in the coming new year to be more relevant, to be more effective.
Yeah. So in terms of trends in the com space, there is a lot of adoption of owned media. There's a rise in owned media over paid and earned media. Not that paid and earned media are going to go away, but definitely a lot of brands are focusing on owned media, right? Because that increases your digital footprint. It was not the case earlier. So I think that is something as comms professional that we need to watch out for. And in terms of skills, um, nothing particular, but I would say AI is already, everybody is using AI, but don't overuse AI. I think as comms professionals, we should know where to use AI. And we become redundant and obsolete if we don't use AI. So use it wisely, is
Mhm.
what I would say. And yeah, I think that's about it. There are a lot of people who don't use AI at all, thinking that they are great. They are saying, "Oh no," they challenge it. But yeah, I think we must be wise enough to use the trends to optimize productivity
Hmm.
and efficiency, basically. Yeah. So in terms of skills, yeah, that's about it.
Perfect. So
Always
just make
go
AI your
with the market.
friend in a way that you know
Yeah,
where to use it and where to draw a line, not let it
yeah,
interfere with your intellectual revolution, but at the same time, don't
absolutely.
just shut it away and slog 24 into 7 just to do things
24/7.
which
Yeah.
can easily
Yeah,
be
because if
done.
there's something that where we can optimize productivity, yes, make use of it.
Why not?
But not make AI your life, not make ChatGPT your life. Because I had someone tell me last week, you know what, I hate going to LinkedIn because the moment I open LinkedIn, it's ChatGPT. So I think we're losing our real self, we're losing our authenticity because people are overusing ChatGPT or AI.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Susan. This was, a really heartwarming conversation, very real, very authentic, and I think very useful, very useful.
Yeah.
Even if two people, four people, five people are able to listen to this and just figure out in their environment where do they need help and ask for it. I think we would have served the purpose of
Sure.
this conversation.
Thank you, Garima, for the opportunity. It was great having this conversation with you.
Thank you. You have a great day and an awesome new year
Sure, you
ahead.
too. Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Happy New Year. Yeah, bye
Bye.
bye.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Take care.